Hello there! Welcome to the stream, one and all. Hope you're having a splendid Saturday full of wondrous things. Or at least mildly above average things. Or should we settle for average? Just sort of an average level of splendidness? I don't know how high to set the bar, really. I hope your Saturday isn't actively awful. There we go. We'll start from that point and we'll work our way up. So today, I have a job that needs doing. It's not the most wildly exciting thing in the world. And when I have big jobs that need doing that aren't wildly exciting, one way to make them more fun is to do them on stream. Because I find having you lovely people in the audience incentivizes me to get the job done, helps pass the time, helps make it all more bearable. And I thought, yeah, this job calls for a stream. So we're going to do it. And it's an important job, and that job is subtitles. So this is a thing that I've never really worried about doing on the channel until fairly recently. And I've decided that it's an important thing that I actually do start doing. And I've been working through my YouTube channel, adding subtitles to the various videos, because when you look at the ones that YouTube automatically generates, they try their best, but basically they think my follower is called Lucien and Flowers. And that is not his name. He is not called Lucien Flowers. He is Lucien Flavius. And it's just very poor, you know. And if you're someone who's hard of hearing, or English isn't your first language, or just you prefer to have some subtitles on, you know, if it just makes it easier for you to keep up with what's going on, you know. I think it's nice to have those there, and they're toggleable. You know, they're an option. So if you don't want them there, you can turn them off. If you do want them there, then you can turn them on. You know, and it's nice to have. But so I've been working my way through adding them to my videos. But some of the longer ones, like the tutorial episodes and my Nexus Mods interview, and not to mention Lucien the Dragonborn. I mean, that's a huge amount. None of those have subtitles or anything you can read on screen. And it makes it, I don't know. I think there's a gap there where I could improve accessibility of everything on the channel, and it's something I'd like to do. So I'm going to do that, and you're going to keep me company while I do it, if you fancy. No, Lucien was not named after Lucien LeChance. Well, in a way he was. In a way, and in that convoluted way, it was that I had not played Oblivion. I was making a follower for Skyrim. I knew I wanted him to be an Imperial. I went on the Elder Scrolls wiki. I looked at the list of pre-established canonical Imperial names. I scrolled down and picked a name that I liked the sound of. I then looked down the list of established surnames and picked a surname that I liked the sound of, and I put the two together. In hindsight, I should have clicked on the name and actually seen what characters had the name Lucien, because I didn't realise Lucien LeChance was such a big character in Oblivion. And if I'd realised that, I probably wouldn't have used that name. I probably wouldn't have gone with that. But I didn't do my due diligent research. I didn't click on it. I went ahead and just used the name. And obviously we can't change it or anything now. That's been the established name for years and years. You know, he's called Lucien. It's fine. But yes, that's kind of how it came about. So no, not intentionally, accidentally, sort of. Within the canon of the game, definitely not. He's definitely not named after that character within the Elder Scrolls. You know, it's just coincidence. It's just a name, you know? There are different people with different names. There are many people called Steve. They're not all the same Steve. Or maybe they are. Maybe, babe, new conspiracy theory just dropped. There is only one Steve. Everyone in the world called Steve is in fact the same person wearing different hats. There you go. Anyway, yes, I've heard that, Secret Time Lady. Welcome to the stream, by the way. Always lovely to see you. But yeah, a lot of people really like subtitles. I did a poll on Discord a little bit earlier, a few weeks ago. I did a poll just to ask how many people who, you know, are in the Discord usually prefer to watch videos with subtitles turned on than turned off. And 46 people came back saying subtitles on, and 12 people came back saying they prefer subtitles off. So that's the vast majority of people responding to the poll thought subtitles on was better. So I'm going to be adding them. And also, if I look at the stats on my YouTube channel, if I go onto my analytics, what YouTube does is it will show me the number of people who are watching with subtitles. And I've been gradually adding subtitles. Obviously, not all my videos have subtitles on, like most of them still don't. But over the last 7 days, 16% of viewers watched with subtitles on. 16.3% on all my videos. And if I pick a video like the first tutorial episode, how to make a follower mod. If I pick the first tutorial episode and I look at the audience stats on it over the last 7 days, because it's had subtitles for the last 7 days, there you go, 38% of viewers watched with subtitles turned on that over the last 7 days, which is a huge chunk, you know, that's a lot of people. So there's definitely demand for it. It's definitely something that improves the experience for a lot of people. So yeah, it's something we're going to do. But it is a very big job. It's very slow. And yes, Nuna, if that's something you're interested in helping with, it is something that can be set up. I think there's a whole YouTube permissions system. If you wanted to help out, that could be something that would be very handy. It's very slow and time consuming. So, you know, obviously no obligation or anything, but if you'd be interested, then yes, that would be marvellous. That would be really helpful. I'll get in touch. I'll drop you a message and we can see what we can do if you're interested. But yes, okay, so I'm really not sure how I would get Lucien and flowers into the mod as a line of dialogue. I don't know how I would justify that one. But thanks for the suggestion. Hello, Artemis Entity. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're having a splendid Saturday. Right, okay. So, yes, so it is, the auto subtitles are quite funny. They are quite funny, but for people who actually want subtitles, for the people who actually need them or rely on them in order to properly understand, they're not functional. You know? Oh, this is literally what Nuna's just said, you know? It's funny, like, haha, that's very funny, but when you actually need them, you can't interpret them, you don't know what's going on. You know, and they need to be functional. I've been doing a lot recently in my PhD work on inclusive design. The latest paper I've been writing is about developing some technology that works for to support people who have Parkinson's disease, and we've designed it so that it's applicable both for people who have Parkinson's and people who don't have Parkinson's. And one of my key results is showing that it functions for both groups with similar level of performance. And inclusive design is a whole growing field, so it's something that's very actively in my mind at the moment. So that's part of what's got me thinking about this right now as well. You know, and it's something that I think everyone should be doing, really, because why limit your audience base as well? You know, if you can make stuff more accessible, it's open to more people, you've got more potential viewers, more potential users. It's all positive stuff. There's no real downside apart from the time investment. So, okay. Tiny Lucien just stole your Twitch screen. Oh, well, guess he can't watch anymore. He's made the decision. Okay, right. So I'm going to go over to, let's go to screen with camera. And you can basically watch as I do this. I'm going to start with my, sorry, I haven't put the screen on yet. Give me a sec. I'm going to start with my Nexus interview because it's shorter. It's still 14 minutes long, so it's still going to take a while. But that's one thing we can get sorted. And if some of you are interested in volunteering to help out with it, that's awesome. Have a watch of this so you can see my process and how I go about doing it. And then if I can set you up with permissions to help out with it, then you can see what you'd be sort of letting yourself in for. So, hang on a sec. Okay. So if I go screen with camera, I'm doing it in 1440p. If stuff is too small on the screen to see what's happening, let me know. I can bump the resolution down. But I'm going to start with the automatic subtitles here where it says English automatic. And I'm going to hit duplicate and edit. And here is the wall of text. So we've got, look at all this. It's not formatted. It's got no paragraph breaks. It makes up a whole bunch of the words. It's really not ideal. So there's a lot we can improve about this. So the first step in the process is that I've got to go through this with the video, which I can play, and listen to what I say, edit all of this to make it look nice, and then we do a second pass where we edit the timings. It'll automatically try and match it up with the timings, but we'll need to manually tweak that in order to get them just right. Okay, so let's get started. 1800 hours in Skyrim. Pah! That's mere days. You know? It's nothing. Let me know when you're a real pro. Okay, anyway, so I usually put pause while typing on. So we go, oh, there once was a hero named Lucien Flavius, whose singing and writing and looks were just marvelous. Now, I'm going to write these. Because the majority of my viewers are in the US, I'm going to write this with US spellings. We can have options for a UK spelling version and a US spelling version, but I don't think anyone really cares. So I'm just going to stick with the US spellings. And for now. Unless anyone does care about their subtitles being different. I have no idea how many hours I have now. Many hours. Probably more hours in the creation kit. I've never really got into Fallout Lost Kitnip. So probably not. It's just not something I've ever really explored. As we go, hi. Can you guys read the text on this? Or is it all too small? Would you like me to bump down my screen resolution to make it all bigger? Or is it okay? I mean, I can just zoom in, of course. That works better, actually, doesn't it? If I just zoom in and make it big. There we go. To be honest, that's a bit easier for me to read as well. Okay. Gosh, this was so cheesy, wasn't it? Look how baby I am! A full-time engineering student and part-time writer, but I'm probably best known as creator and voice of Lucien. The custom, we'll hyphenate that. Custom voice follower mod for the Elder Scrolls. Let's go with V, stylistically. Elder Scrolls V, Skyrim. We do a double enter to force it to separate, because it'll run lines together and sort of naturally try and move them on so you don't have too much text on the screen at once. But if you do a double enter, it like forces that to be like a line break, which is useful for when you've got a bit of a gap. Thank you for the follow, Delta Zero. Right. So, a little while ago, piggy sauce from the Skyrim Nexus. It's not piggy sauce. It's Pickysaurus. Thanks for the follow, Artemis Entity. Which, of course, I would. But being the unrepentant tryhard, now it doesn't know the word tryhard, so let's put that in. That I am, I thought I'd do that as a video. So, sit back, pour yourself a tall glass of Nord mead. Do you know, this is actually done quite well, compared to some of the videos that I've been subtitling. We've not gone too horribly wrong so far. It's mostly just punctuation at the moment. Or milk and enjoy. Oh, it's so cheesy. I love it. Hi, Joseph. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to speak to me, and a special thank you for putting together this video version of the interview. Oh, that works fine. Hi, Piggy. It really wants to go with Piggy. When was this? 2017? 2018? Something like that? Is that right? Who keeps track of these things? Probably, maybe I've got that horribly wrong. I want to say 2018. 2017 would have been too early. Could have been 2019. I don't know. What's the date on the video? Someone can check that, but I'd have to minimize all that in order to see. It is a few years ago now, though. It's a pleasure to be here, here being in my house, or my parents' house. That's where we filmed this.
Hi, Piggy. It's a pleasure to be here. Thanks so much for having me on.
And you can tell that that line I didn't actually say at the time, because it only comes out the left speaker, because I didn't know how to do the audio balancing then, and I recorded that one afterwards and put it on over the top. And yeah, that one just comes out the left speaker, because I didn't know about stereo. Because I was a noob. 2019, okay. It was 2019, there we go. Right, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. Full stop. Thanks so much for having me on. I always do a line break when two different people are speaking. You know, so that it's clear that you don't have, so it doesn't look like it's one person saying the whole lot. So, as a fellow gamer, if you had to pick your absolute favourite game of all time.
Fellow gamer, if you had to pick your absolute favourite game of all time, what would it be and why?
Okay, and I'm going to cut out, I'm not going to include the bits that I say there, because the little nothingy words I'll put in if they can be put in without losing any clarity, but including that yeah, okay would break up the question and would make it harder to read what's happening, whereas including them doesn't actually add any information, so I'm cutting them. I don't know whether all this explanation of what I'm doing is helpful or interesting or what, but this is what the stream is going to be. Question, was Lucien ever supposed to have dialogue with the Thieves Guild and Dark Brotherhood questlines? What do you mean, was he supposed to? Like, did I mean to implement it and forget? No, I mean, I still would like to do them. It's just time, right? There's like millions, well, not millions, but there are literally thousands of things Lucien could comment on in Skyrim. And it's, I had to kind of prioritize. So Lucien will get commentary on those things eventually, but hasn't done yet.
If you had to pick your absolute favourite game of all time, what would it be and why?
Okay, the game that means...
Gosh, I was so much smaller. Just everything was smaller. Just my face was just so much narrower. I did talk about that in the interview with Colin, that's true. I talked about many things in the interview with Colin. It's worth a watch if you're interested in answers to all these questions. Okay, so the game that means the most to me... Personally, see, it's just not... A lot of the time, it just doesn't write anything for stuff. Most personally... Hang on, let's go back.
Okay, the game that means...
No, that's it. There's no so there.
...the most to me, personally, that I think is therefore my favourite.
I think is therefore my favourite is Croc. Legend of the Go-Go's. It's really old platformer from 1997, I think. And I don't usually include ers or ums unless they're sort of intentional.
But it is just great because the music is amazing and the whole thing has this great sense of whimsy and
adventure.
Hidden secrets to find, and it's just a great game. It's the first game I ever played.
It's just... see, what do I do about this where I just messed up a sentence?
It has all these hidden secrets to find, and it's just a great game. It's the first game.
It's just the great It was the first game. I can just do it like that.
Ever played, and there's all these hidden secrets to find, and it's just a great game. It's the first game I ever played.
I ever played.
Back to if I to find, and it's just a great game. It's the first game I ever played, and it's the one I always keep coming back to if I ever want to
just. I'll put a comma in there. Just
relax and have fun playing games. No, it's great. I mean, obviously there's things like
playing. No, I meant to say playing a game. So I'll change it to that. See what I mean? It's a very long, slow job. It will be very satisfying. When we play it back at the end and you can see it all synced up, it'll look great. Important to save drafts regularly while we're doing it. This doesn't always update, annoyingly. The preview on the right doesn't always work, so don't pay too much attention to that.
relax and have fun playing games. No, it's great. I mean, obviously there's
There was a little in there. It's great. I mean, obviously, there's also...
Skyrim. Relax and have fun playing games. No, it's great. I mean, obviously there's things like Skyrim, for instance, which
Things like Skyrim, for instance.
is probably the game I've played the most over the years because, basically infinite amount.
I do write in, like, a lot of the time when I'm talking, I'll skim over words and barely say them. So here, I barely said the word theirs. I just sort of went zzz, because, it's basically an infinite amount of content. But I think, again, it's better in subtitles to actually write in the word theirs.
Good content, but with modding and everything.
What with modding and everything. Hello, Tense Chamomile! Yes, they are a big faff. They are a big faff, Artemis Entity, and I'm probably being quite slow because I'm talking you guys through the process while I do it, but... Anyway.
Basically infinite amount of content, but with modding and everything. And now making content for it.
And now making content for it. So it's definitely one of those two, really. But I think Croc has my heart. Okay.
It's definitely one of those two, really, but I think Croc has my heart.
So now let's talk about your mods.
Let's talk about your mods. Yes, I am. I'm making subtitles for my YouTube videos to improve their accessibility, Tense Chamomile.
There might be some modders in the Skyrim
Modders, not models. The Skyrim community.
who've yet to meet Lucien. What can you tell?
I don't know why auto subtitles can't manage punctuation, or at least to guess at punctuation. It's not too tricky for an AI to guess this stuff. You'd think if it can underline it in red and suggest that there should be a full stop there, then it could put them in automatically, but I don't know. Yes, I would love to do a dialogue patch for Legacy of the Dragonborn at some point, I just don't know when. Hi, my name is Cindy, welcome to the stream.
Some modders in the Skyrim community who've yet to meet Lucien. What can you tell us about him?
So there's a lot I could tell you about Lucien.
Now, obviously, YouTube thought I was singing at that point, because it put music. So, there's a lot I could tell you.
Meet Lucien. What can you tell us about him?
So there's a lot I could tell you about Lucien, but I think there's a much better person to answer that question.
To answer that question.
So I'll just let my friend take it from here.
Look how pleased with myself I was for that. Look at that grin. I was so excited to do this bit. Oh, bless. I do find it faster to start with the auto subtitle and edit it, personally, rather than creating and lining them up myself. I find auto syncing it does make the process faster. Hello there. See, look! My name is Lucien Flowers! Told you. Shout out from Nuna to Nuna's cat, who climbed into a sturdy paper bag that some pens they ordered came in and was mighty surprised to find herself picked up in the bag. Oh, that's adorable. My name is Lucien Flavius. It's a pleasure to... As I so often seem to say, I'm a scientist, philosopher, amateur wizard, and something of a musician. Though I suppose that's more of a hobby.
I'm here in Skyrim on an academic expedition, and I'm in need of someone a little tougher than me to show me around and make sure I don't die. I'll pay you handsomely for the job, and if you're willing to train me, I'll do my best to help you out in however I can. I'll also sing to you, read to you, and comment on hundreds. Different situations in Skyrim,
Including content from other mods. Ah. Oops. There goes the... Not goes the well. There goes the fourth wall. If you fancy giving me a go versus it's giving me a gun. No. Do not give Lucien a gun. If you fancy giving me a go. Steam, that shows you how old this was. Or Bethesda.net. And download me. Oh, there was a whole line there we forgot. What have you got to lose? Right then. Back to you, Joseph. We're 3 minutes in out of 14 minutes. We're like 20% of the way through. And it's been half an hour.
Is the character of Lucien inspired by the character you play in Skyrim, or does the inspiration come from somewhere else?
Or does the inspiration come from somewhere else?
So the inspiration for Lucien, there's a lot of me in there, really. He is very much how I think I might react to being thrown into the situations that Skyrim presents you. So he's a bit of a wuss.
I'm obviously much less heroic, but yes. So he's a bit of a wuss.
He's very academic. He will much more readily run from a fight than confront it. He likes singing. He likes bad jokes.
He likes singing. These things haven't changed. He likes bad jokes.
The voice I use for him is basically mine, but maybe slightly posher.
Slightly pasher. Apparently I said posher so poshly it thought I was saying pasher. Live channels you might like. Joseph Russell UK. I'm so glad. You know. Oh.
Is basically mine, but maybe slightly posher, just a little bit posher. But I.
I'm not personally an anime fan. No, not really. Not apart from the standard, you know, American dub 4Kids things that people watch growing up. You know, your Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, Digimon a bit, that kind of thing.
Basically mine, but maybe slightly posher, just a little bit posher. But I really don't change a lot because I have to do that.
But they really don't change a lot.
Because I find when you record posher, but I really don't change a lot because I have to do that. Because I find when you're recording thousands of
For a character.
lines of dialogue for a character, it's really got to be something you can easily just jump into. You know, if I try to put on a voice for that.
You know, if I try to put on a voice for that.
That might work for a couple of hundred lines, but when you're doing that for so much time.
Revealing my Britishness here with a couple of hundred instead of a couple hundred.
It becomes really difficult. That might work for a couple of hundred lines, but when you're doing that for so much time, it becomes really difficult. So, by being such a natural.
So,
It's really easy. I mean, I know Gary Hesketh who does.
I mean, it's really easy. Gosh, I have lots of long run-on sentences here. Ah, yes, it is my... Have I finally revealed my secret? I thought you thought I was French.
So, by being such a natural voice for me, it's really easy.
Voice for me.
Who does Inigo.
For me. I mean, it's really easy. I mean, I know...
By being such a natural voice for me, it's really easy. I mean, I know Gary Hesketh who
Very Hesketh. I'm sure Gary is very Hesketh. But, I'll go with Gary. What? Got in trouble for saying 100 instead of 100? Is there a difference? Isn't that just the same? Gary Hesketh, who does Inigo. I mean, fair enough, YouTube. It is one word. What I quite enjoyed when I was doing subtitles for some of the Lucien Inigo scenes is quite often YouTube would read it as Indigo, even though that's like the joke. The times Lucien was legitimately saying Inigo instead of Indigo, YouTube would still go Indigo. So even YouTube can't do it. Hey, Dwemakog.
does Inigo. Does this complete
Does this complete...
vocal transformation for the character, and he's done that for literally 7,000 lines, and I have no idea how he manages to cope with that. I don't
No idea how he manages to cope with that. I don't have a talent. That's quite harsh, YouTube. I think I have a talent. I just don't have that talent.
Yeah, a lot of Lucien
Absolute burn from YouTube there.
just comes from me, and also kind of what I think might be funny. I thought it would be interesting.
Also kind of what I think might be funny. I thought...
Just comes from me, and also kind of what I think might be funny. I thought it would be interesting because so many of the characters in Skyrim are these big.
Because so many other characters... Now, what do you think I should do there? I'm interested in your opinions, people. When I write cos, should I correct it in the subtitles to because? Should I leave it as cos like this? Or should I abbreviate it to, I don't know, cos like that? Or cos like that with an apostrophe in front? That's what Secret Time Lady's leaning towards. Yeah, okay. I think we're going with the apostrophe cause. Okay.
I think might be funny. I thought it would be interesting because so many of the characters in Skyrim are these big, strong barbarians. You know, all of these fighters.
Big, strong barbarians, you know.
The characters in Skyrim are these big, strong barbarians. You know, all of these fighters or assassins.
All these fighters or assassins. Gosh, I say you know an awful lot. They're all really serious people. I was so nervous when I was doing this. I hadn't really done videos before.
In Skyrim are these big, strong barbarians, you know, all of these fighters or assassins, you know, they're all really serious people who are there to win fights and be heroes of Skyrim. So I thought just
Be heroes of Skyrim. Cos sounds more Josephy. I love the implication there that you think I'm generally just more formal. Subtitles should be as close to what I said as possible, not what you meant. Unless with things like stuff just came out a little unclear, like you mentioned earlier about going as when you meant theirs. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. Although, I did go against that when I was doing the subtitles for the first 2 tutorial episodes, because I noticed I'd said something that was just wrong. Like a mistake. Like the wrong name of something. I can't remember quite what it was. I said the wrong name of something, which was important information. So I thought the subtitle might as well say the correct name of the thing, even if the word I said was wrong. Can't remember what it was. It wasn't that important. I think I corrected it in the comments. I can't remember now. It was something, anyway. I thought when it's an informative video, I should make sure the facts are right. I don't know.
To win fights and be heroes of Skyrim. So I thought just have an ordinary.
His favourite drink is tea. Or milk. Don't know. One of the two. Originally milk, probably. But tea, sort of more recently, when we've been doing mods that add tea. We've been going with that.
To win fights and be heroes of Skyrim. So I thought just have an ordinary.
Yeah, he'd definitely take tea with milk. Sorry, I'm just making him into more and more of a self-insert as time goes by, aren't I? A lot of Lucien just comes from me. I've lost my place now. Here's Skyrim, comma. So I thought.
To win fights and be heroes of Skyrim. So I thought just have an ordinary.
So I thought just to have an ordinary bloke who wasn't. Good at anything. Would Lucien be interested in boba tea? Boba tea? I don't know how you say that, to be honest. Would he be interested? Yes, Lucien would be very interested because Lucien is interested in everything. Lucien wants to try everything. He's fascinated by everything. He would be very interested in trying it. Me personally, I've never tried it. I've no idea if I like it or not. I suspect I probably won't because generally I tend not to like sort of tea alternatives because I have very firm expectations of what I expect tea to be. So anything else purporting to be tea but different is usually a no for me. But I think Lucien would be really up for trying, being adventurous with that sort of thing. Just to see how he reacts. I thought that would be a really interesting, unique character. Well, I'll certainly make sure to be honest, I should also do that, Nuna, if I make a correction for the people who aren't using the subtitles so they know there's a correction there. But yeah, no, totally on board with the premise of making it as close as possible to what the person would hear.
People who are there to win fights and be heroes of Skyrim. So I thought just have an ordinary bloke who isn't really good at anything there, just to see how he reacts. I thought that would be a really interesting, unique character. And sort of as soon as I started writing him.
Although, of course, as you can see, I'm not writing the ums and ers in most situations. Do you think that's appropriate?
I thought that would be a really interesting, unique character, and sort of as soon as I started.
I think the difference is, because I've been writing subtitles for some of the episodes of this show that my dad was involved in on that other channel, and I've left them in there because when they're part of the sort of deliberate dialogue with the you know, if it's like, oh, I'm something of a musician, you know, I think it's important to have the there. But when it's me trying to convey information here, and you've got these big, long, difficult to follow run-on sentences anyway, I think I probably shouldn't have them. Because I think they just make it harder to read. But yeah, I think if you're then missing out on an element, on a facet of the character or something by not having them, then they should be there. I think.
As soon as I started writing him, his character just sort of grew organically on its own, which I then tried to capture.
His character just sort of grew, not through.
In the game, you know, with his
Hang on.
character just sort of grew organically on its own, which I then tried to capture.
Then tried to capture it in the game. You know, look how long this sentence is.
The game, you know, with his personality systems and the whole way he developed.
The whole way.
As you play with him, so he sort of these days kind of writes
So he sort of these days.
himself.
Such a cliche. Doop doop doo. What do you mean, did I memorize the video? Why would I memorize the video? Or do you mean what I was saying? Do you mean was I reading from a script, as it were? Because no, I wasn't. I find having a strict script to follow is doesn't produce the best performance from me. So I rehearsed it a few times. You know, went over the questions a few times, knew the gist of what I was going to say, but it was more improving. Yes, when I'm writing these, I definitely include like music or crash or whatever, because I think it's important.
I enjoy it very much.
Before you
Because yeah, as Nuna says, ultimately the point is to convey all the information that you would otherwise get from audio. Before you released Lucien, gosh, this is slow work.
Lucien, your mods included
Typo fixes. I'm capitalizing that because they were capitalized when the mods that he's referring to. And patches for Bethesda's creation. Oh, you mean now when I'm correcting stuff? No, I've got the video playing on the right. This video here. And I'm just reading ahead and correcting the stuff that's obviously wrong. What inspired you to make the jump to your own fully... I'm going to hyphenate that. Fully featured follower.
and patches for Bethesda's Creation Club content. What inspired you to make the jump to your own fully featured follower?
Oh, wow, you'd write your own ums and ers in advance? That's amazing, Dwemercog. Gosh. Oh, well, if it works for you, fantastic.
Content. What inspired you to make the jump to your own fully featured follower?
Yeah, so the typo fixes.
Yes, so the typo fixes and the patches
The patches were all really. I made them
were all really ...
to me because as someone who does a lot of writing, I have a sensitive eye for grammar.
Now, this bit, I need to make sure I get the spelling and grammar exactly right in the subtitles. Otherwise, it'll be incredibly ironic.
spelling mistakes. You know, if I spot something and my eye goes straight for grammar and spelling mistakes. You know, if I spot something and my eye goes straight to it, I really notice it, and that really takes.
I go straight to her. No, to it. We're not going to pointlessly gender the spelling and grammar mistakes.
Mistakes. You know, if I spot something and my eye goes straight to it, I really notice it, and that really takes me out of the immersion in the game. So I started with these writing.
With these writing patches.
Because a lot of incredibly talented modders who make these amazing mods, often English isn't their first language, or
You know,
or they're not, they're not trained writers. Then they come from all walks of life. But sometimes it's easy for anyone really to leave typos in there. So I thought.
anyone really typos in there. So I thought.
My own personal enjoyment. Anyone really to leave typos in there. So I thought, for my own personal enjoyment, I'd just go in and fix the mistakes that I see as they come up.
This is also true, Secret Time Lady. Please do point out typos that you see. If you see me mess something up, I appreciate that very much. How strict can it be to anyone here? Yeah, so I personally never have a strict script because I'm never happy with the end result when I find that limits me too much when I'm saying it. I find I become very wooden when I'm reading from a strict script. But that's just my own personal thing. And just quick personal point there on that Artemis entity. I would very much prefer that we don't have any, much in line with all our usual rules about controversy and everything. I'd much prefer not to bring any of that kind of controversy to the stream. If that's okay. And then the Creation Club patches.
Which were much later on, sort of taking that.
Sort of.
A little bit further, again, it's this idea of polishing the content and sort of.
What was my personal favourite line I did for Lucien and Inigo's dialogue? That's tricky. Because my favourite line I didn't write. My favourite line is the Ragnar the Bread song, which Gary wrote. That's my favourite because it's just so deeply stupid. It's so wonderfully dumb. I love it. But I can't take credit for it because it's not mine. I didn't write it. It's hard to remember what bits I did write of that really now. It was a while ago now, a couple of years ago, that we were doing it. It was height of the pandemic when I was living at home at my parents' house.
Sort of taking that a little bit further, again, it's this idea of polishing.
Again, it's all this idea of polishing. What are my thoughts on Candy Floss being named as such? It's a very odd name when you come to think about it. Because it's like, when I think of floss, I think dental floss. And I think if you tried to floss your teeth with candy floss, that would be the opposite effect of flossing. So it's probably not a great idea. But I mean, it's fine, that's what it's called, so. What are my thoughts on banana bread? Love banana bread. I've never made it. I should make it, because I think it's not too tricky. Love it, though. Gosh, now I want banana bread. Who decided Inigo were called Lucy and Julian? That was Gary. That was in Gary's initial pitch. His initial sort of suggestions. One of the main premises was the Indigo Julian thing. I love that he offered me that he offered me calling his character Indigo. I enjoyed that. Oh, I like that scene too, Secret Time Lady. Banana bread with or without nuts. Now, I love walnuts. Walnuts are the best nut. So I think any cake with walnuts in is very good. Banana bread with walnuts in sounds wonderful. Joseph, yes, Nuna. Don't you, Joseph, know me? Joseph, yes. Walnuts. Very good. They are the best nut. They look like little brains. Little tiny brains. What got me into Skyrim? When I was at school, all my friends were playing it, and I wasn't old enough, because I was 15, and I wasn't 15 when it came out. I didn't have it. And I wanted it. Is that true? I'm doubting myself now. How old would I have been when Skyrim came out? Skyrim came out in 2011. And I'm 25. Yesterday I had to Google how old I was. Because I'd forgotten. I had to work it out again. Like how many years has it been since my birthday? 10 years ago would have been, I'd have been 15 in 2013. Okay, yes, so I would have been 13 in 2011 when it came out. So, yeah, I wasn't old enough. My friends all had it. They all played it. I really wanted to play it. Only got it years later. Can't remember really specifically what it was that made me get it. But there's this feeling of nostalgia I have for Skyrim, which is a game that I still actively play. But do you guys have this? I have a feeling of nostalgia for my initial experience of the game when I was discovering it for the first time. My first playthrough. And sometimes when I try and play, I try and think myself into that state of sort of new discovery of it, of like try and see it again for the first time. My brother used to come into the room, and it shows how young I was actually when this came out, because we were at my old house before I moved. I moved when I was 17. So my memories are in my old childhood bedroom where I grew up. And my brother used to come in and watch me play. And I remember when my first save got corrupted, because I'd started modding a good chunk of the way into the quest line, and it was horribly broken and I had to start again. And I was fine with starting again, but my brother never watched me play again after that, because he didn't want to go back to the beginning and watch the start of the story again, you know. But yeah. Now I'm feeling all nostalgic. And I'm not writing subtitles, I'm just chatting. Ugh. Still, it's fun though. It's fun chatting to you. First playthrough was a Khajiit. My first character was a high elf, because I didn't know what they were. I didn't know all the implications that came with it at the time. Layla, if you want a romanceable Doomsbethar, you are gonna love my video I put out on Monday. Oh, I can't remember my first mod I downloaded. One of the very first mods I downloaded was Moonpath to Elsewhere, because I read about it in a physical copy of PC Gamer when I used to get the magazine. And I wouldn't get it regularly. I'd get the magazine. The PC Gamer was a treat for me when I was going on holiday. If we were going on a long journey, like a flight or a long drive or something, Mum would buy me a copy of PC Gamer, and I would read it on the way. And I read about Moonpath to Elsewhere in that. And that was like, oh, I need that. I need to go to Elsewhere. But I think one of the very first ones I had was Fall of the Space Corps, because obviously they were advertising that on Steam all the time. And there was a mod that let you put out fires with frost and relight them with fire. I don't know whether that's a thing that is just a feature now. Or maybe camping or adds it or something. There's something that adds it. Maybe it's not a professional. Maybe it's just like a part of another mod kind of thing these days. But at the time, it was a specific mod to make that happen. And I loved the immersion from that. Anyway, right. Let's actually do some more of this.
The content that's already there just to make it, to me,
Okay, let's go back.
creation club patches, which were much later on, was sort of taking that a little bit
Further, you know.
And it's this idea of polishing the content that's already there just to make it, to me, that bit more.
Make it, to me, that bit more. Oh, sorry, and someone asked if I was writing when I was 15. Yes, I was writing when I was 15. I was writing, I did my first book, which is rubbish, but I did it. I released my first book when I was 14. Oh, look, I have a new YouTube subscriber. If you want to read my book I wrote when I was 14, if you want to put yourself through that, it is available on Amazon because I self-published it. But thank you for subbing, who will blame me? But Lonely World, which I wrote when I was much older, is much better. So read that one instead if you're going to read something. No, Lucien will never be romanceable, I'm afraid. No plans to do that.
The content that's already there just to make it.
There. Just to make it, to me, that bit more professional.
To me, that bit more professional, just to make it that bit better.
Now, what am I saying there?
That bit more professional, just to make it that bit better.
Just... Oh well, I'll be faithful to whatever nonsense I said. Just that make it that bit better.
Yeah, to me, that bit more professional, just to make it that bit better.
But yes.
Yeah, so doing that sort of thing.
So doing that sort of thing while satisfying.
While satisfying for me, it's
very. Yeah,
enjoyable.
Hang on.
While satisfying for me, it's enjoyable.
I really fell apart here, didn't I? It's.
Enjoyable to do,
but the actual work.
The work is not fun. You know, actually going in there with.
You know. Actually going in there. Hang on.
Is not fun. You know, actually going in there with
with. Well, I use Xedit.
To do a lot of it, and it's
to a lot of it. And
thousands upon thousands of records.
thousands of records.
Changing them. There's no creativity that goes into.
There's no creativity that goes into that.
So I found that it can be a drag
doing that kind of work.
So
It's quite interesting to hear what I thought years ago, watching this back. Oh, I don't know. It's self-publishing is a very personal decision, Dwemer. If your niece doesn't want to release the work, if they don't think it's their, if your niece doesn't want to show it to other people, I mean, as you say, it's her choice. I guess all you can do is tell her that she does have real talent, As you say, if you just tell her you like it, that's kind of all you can do. Beyond that, it's really got to be up to her. Putting your work in front of eyeballs of strangers on the internet is a very scary thing. It's a very big thing to do. It was a very big event in my life, self-publishing my first book. You know, and you got to do that when you're ready. But yeah, just tell her she's great. Sometimes, as writers, we need to hear it, because we tell ourselves we're rubbish. That's what happens. Is you read it back and you're like, ugh, this is the worst thing I've ever written. You know, it's the worst thing I've ever read. This is terrible. That's what you always have, that narrative in your brain, and everyone has that writing. I think if you don't have that, you're some kind of god / psychopath. I don't know, but everyone has that. Has the worst critic always lives in your head. So hearing positive affirmation, you can never get enough positive affirmation as a writer. And just to be clear, that's not me fishing for compliments or anything. Please don't all tell me I'm wonderful now. But what I'm saying is that you can never compliment a writer too much, generally, I think. Or indeed any kind of creative.
So I found that it can be a drag doing that kind of work. So I find it's so much more rewarding personally to actually
So I find it so much more rewarding, personally.
create content. So all the time while I was doing that patching, I was getting a feel for how
So all the time while I was doing that. Batching? No, patching.
to use a creation kit.
How to use the creation kit. How to use Excel? I wish we were doing this in Excel. I'm much better with Excel. To use Xedit.
Picking up all the skills I need.
How to do morning
I was getting a feel for how to use the creation kit, how to use Xedit, how to do modding, picking up
modding.
all the skills I needed.
Gosh, I need subtitles here.
So then I found when I came to doing, wanting to do
When I came to doing... wanting to do something.
something more, bigger.
Ooh, that's a loud gling when I've got the volume turned up. Oh, I might sneeze. Oh, another subscriber. Thank you, whoever just subscribed. Nuna, you're obviously one of the gods. It's lovely that you like your writing. Doesn't mean you're a bad writer. And I was being flippant earlier, I should say. You know, I do think if you can like your own writing, that's only a positive thing. That's a wonderful thing, you know. That's fab. I wish I had that, you know. Oh, I'm so glad to hear it, Secret Time Lady. It's lovely to have you on the streams again, you know. Lovely that you're still part of the community.
So then I found when I came to doing, wanting to do something more or a bigger model was my own. Then I found when I came to doing, wanting to do something more or a bigger model was my own work. I was already familiar with where all
It's already familiar with where.
the buttons are and how to achieve the various things that I needed. So then I was thinking,
So then I was thinking, you know,
things that I needed. So then I was thinking, what should I do? What character should I create?
what should I do? Nope. What character could I create? Making like a quest mod, you know, like. I have not watched Avatar: The Way of Water. I will probably watch it when it comes out on whatever streaming service it comes out on sometime, but it's not personally top of my list. Oh, that sounds fun, Ego Cat. I'd love to play that sometime. Quest mod or a dungeon. We're only halfway through! And it's been an hour! Oh.
The idea is made predominantly or a dungeon, and there are quests and dungeons in Lucien, but the idea is made predominantly its writing because
Is predominantly its writing.
make the character and you have to learn how to sort of set up the conditions and things for the dialogue, but mostly it's just
Dialogue.
hundreds of lines, and I can voice them all myself, so I don't need to collaborate very much with other people, and so it's a really good fit for me. And so yeah, I got follow mod was a great.
So, yeah. I thought a follower mod. Thank you, Despair Doctor. I'm trying my best. I love that I thought I could blitz through doing this one in like the first half hour of the stream and then move on to the tutorials.
And so it's a really good fit.
Posture check. Thank you.
So yeah, I got follow mod was a great place for me to start, and I found it's somewhere I want to stay. You know, it's really really fun. Place for me to start, and I found it's somewhere I want to stay. You know, it's really really fun. Rewarding. You just keep making him bigger and better all the time.
Ah, I got to the end of my sentence. The youthful innocence of 7 o'clock Joseph. Yes, indeed. How am I enjoying the second season of Bad Batch? Very much enjoying it. It's fab. I am behind. I'm like 4 episodes behind. I need to catch up. I haven't had time to keep up with it. But I very much enjoyed the first chunk of the season, and I will catch up when I get some time.
Lucien has numerous interactions with other mods, including other followers. How did you choose each mod to add support for?
So yeah.
So, yeah. I say so yeah a lot. See you, Tense Chamomile. Go to sleep. Sleep is good. Sleep is important. 4:09 a.m. is too early/late. Have a good sleep. Ha! I love how Warabicki has been written as Laura Becky. That is not her name.
For followers, how did you choose each mod to add support for?
So yeah, apart from Inigo, I wanted to.
I parked. Apart from Inigo,
Just start out trying to use the mods that I
wanted to use. Just started out trying to use the mods that hang on.
So yeah, apart from Inigo, I wanted to just start out trying to use the mods that I like to use. You know, that I think it would be
No.
fun for Lucien to interact with.
Fun for Lucien. Oh, thanks, Nuna. Just got your message. Popped up on my laptop screen. I shall have a look at getting that set up after the stream.
What was previously called Song of the Green, featuring
Ori.
Ori, that is now Song of the Green, Ori follower, Song of the Green, featuring Ori, that is now Song of the Green.
But is now Song of the Green. Oh, I might sneeze again. No, I think we're good.
Green Ori follower.
By Warabicki. The famous Prey mod. Never heard of it, I'm afraid. Is there an upcoming Ubisoft Star Wars game? I've lost track. There have been so many Star Wars games announced and cancelled. It's very hard to know. I'm very much looking forward to the novel Ego Cat as well. To be honest, I'm probably more hyped about the book than the game. Though I am really looking forward to the new game as well. Thing is, I won't have any time to play it when it comes out. Oh no, they delayed it, didn't they? They delayed Jedi Survivor to April, I think, which is perfect because that's after PhD, which gives me time to actually play it.
Just a really lovely counterpoint to Lucien's character, so I thought that'd be really fun one to interact with. So the dialogue between them, I think, bounces off really nicely. The way they just don't get each other at all.
And so, yes. Yeah, you see, I've downloaded mods like Winter Sun, and I get them and I go, oh, this makes it so immersive. And then I realize that none of my characters I play are ever particularly interested in worshipping anyone. So I have it downloaded and just never use it.
And then, so yes, so I have this framework that allows me to easily do interactions with other followers.
Easily put ... do interactions with other followers, and that's easy to do. Quest mods, on the other hand, that requires a patch. Careful there. Haha. Oh, I was so naive. This was before we had about 20 patches on Lucien's Nexus page. Oh, we should save the draft in case I accidentally lose all of this. You know, because you don't want people to... I really should do the phone mod at some point. We started that ages ago and I still haven't done it. Process. Easy. As easy and straightforward. Oh, there's another you know in there I missed. Let's include that. So... I want to really get value out of having that patch with a lot of lines. Haha! I absolutely do now have Creation Club patches where it is just 1 or 2 throwaway things. How the tables have tabled. I don't want it. And so, Moonpath to elsewhere. Fair enough, YouTube spelling it as the actual English word rather than the Skyrim word. Which I think was the first. And I may well be wrong. Super Trooper. A lot of other mods.
And I think it's a really nice story that's different to Skyrim. It's different. And I think it's a really nice story that's different to Skyrim.
It's how Lucy? No, Lucien!
Story that's different to Skyrim. It's a different environment, so it's great to see how Lucien, as an academic and a scholar, reacts to being placed in that completely different country, and it's a great way.
And then
Getting a lot of extra lore into it as well. Various comments on the unusual country, and it's a great way of getting a lot of extra lore into it as well.
If Lucien was religious, what Aedra, Daedra, etc. would he follow? Well, that's a very difficult question to answer because he's not religious. And that's part of his character. You know? It's like saying, if he wasn't into science, what would he be into? It's like, I don't know. Him being into science is a big thing. Lucien is not the sort of person to bow down before other entities. I think he would have a lot of problems with the Aedra and the Daedra, and, well, especially the Daedra. Obviously, he believes in them because they empirically exist. There is clear evidence, you know. You get cured of diseases when you touch a shrine. Like, gods definitely exist in the context of Tamriel, so that's scientific fact. But worshipping them, I just can't see him ever doing, you know? But I guess if he had to, if he had to worship one, I guess he'd worship the nice ones. Not the Daedra. Yeah, maybe Julianos, maybe Magnus. But all things exist, said Nanny Og. That's no call to go around believing in them. It only encourages them. I love that. To be honest, Lucien's approach to it is probably inspired quite heavily by Nanny Og's approach in Discworld. I think there is a direct chain of inspiration there. Does Lucien have dialogue with Hermaeus Mora and the Augment Infinium? He does, yes. He tells you not to read that book. I did that one because it was so closely tied to the main quest. Like, you get that quest automatically as part of the main quest, so it made a lot of sense. I'd say generally.
What I think's fun, it helps if I already know the mod. Myself, if I already know the story, because that means I don't have to research it.
I'll make that into one sentence. If I already, because that means I don't have to research it. You know, some. But for various technical reasons are difficult to pull off.
As you're also the voice actor for Lucien, you have...
YouTube always wants to spell Lucien with an A.
Have any tips for budding voice actors to get that perfect recording?
Okay,
I'm going to include the here because I'm very clearly pausing to think.
Do you have any tips for budding voice actors to get that perfect recording?
Okay, I'm not hugely experienced in the world of voice acting beyond this role.
Shouldn't have said that. Instantly, probably, maybe, would have lost me voice acting gigs with any agents happening to scroll across YouTube. I don't know. Was thinking of putting a voice reel together as one of my many projects to do in April. When I have time. You never know. Someone might want to hire me.
I'm not hugely experienced in the world of voice acting beyond this role, but what I can say with any kind of acting, but especially with voice acting, is that you can't just read the lines out.
Gosh, this is such useless advice.
Right, you are acting that character, and so it's really important to put as much variation in tone and emotion into the sentences as you possibly can. And the thing with voice acting as well is a lot of our interaction face to face is all done with facial expression and with your eyes. Voice acting, you have all that element of communication taken, and with your eyes, sort of things that you can see, and when face to face is all done with facial expression.
By the way, if you're ever writing subtitles on YouTube, useful shortcut, shift and left and right will put you forward by back and forward by a few seconds, and shift and space will pause and play the video. So that's what I'm using here.
Face to face is all done with facial expression, and with your eyes, sort of things that you can see. Face to face is all done with facial expression, and with your eyes, sort of things that you can see. And when you're voice acting, you have all that.
When you're voice thing. That's what I do. I just voice thing. Hello, I'm a voice thinger. Would you like to give me a job?
Element of communication taken, and with your eyes, sort of things that you can see. And when you're voice acting, you have all that element of communication taken away. You only have your voice. So everything needs to be turned up to about 150%. I don't know. You need to really. Really amp up all the emotion to the extent that it sounds over the top to you. Because if it sounds over the top
When you're saying it.
when you actually listen back, I find it's usually just about spot on. You know, you can never really do too much.
What hardware and software do you use when working on your mods?
So the best place to talk about hardware and software is here, at university accommodation, where I currently do all my recording.
When I used to live in university accommodation. Many moons ago. I say many moons ago. I've lived in university accommodation until 6 months ago.
So I use a Focusrite.
Right, let's spell this right. Focusrite, Scarlett, Studio, Solo. Time doesn't exist anymore. This is true.
Scarlett Studio Solo pack, which comes with this microphone. It's really nice quality, produces a really lovely.
Oh gosh, my stomach's rumbling. Let's get this done so I can go and have dinner. It's really nice quality.
Which comes with this microphone. It's really nice quality, produces a really lovely sound. I can definitely recommend it. It also comes with this, which is the
Amplifier unit.
amplifier unit. It's got lots of lovely dials on the front that generally I don't touch. But like the microphone, it's a very fashionable shade of red.
I now know what some of those dials do.
Other bits and bobs I use that are very important are this, the pop filter. Now the pop filter works with the sponge cover in order to mask those t and p sounds.
Turned puff sounds. T and p
Right?
sounds. Right. Because when they come through...
In the microphone without the pop filter, that produces.
Oh, you've got a comma between the t. Hang on, hang on, hang on. Yes! Well spotted, Secret Time Lady. You're on the ball. Thank you for that.
Sounds, right? Because when they come through in the microphone without the pop filter, that produces a really obnoxious popping sound. You really don't want that, so it's so important to get one
You really don't want that.
of these. Trouble though with that is that
Trouble, though.
when it masks the sound, trouble though with that is that when it masks the sound, the vibration of that passes
Vibration of that
down the arm of the pop filter and into the mic stand itself, which will then
Nice sniff there.
on the microphone as a sort of humming sound. You really don't want that. That doesn't sound very good.
You really don't want that. That doesn't sound very good. I mean,
You can live with it, but in order to have
that really nice quality sound. I
that really nice quality sound, I suggest investing in one of these.
still using this microphone, by the way. Still the same microphone, slightly different stand. Got this Gorilla Grip stand for it these days. But same microphone, same shock mount. It's done me very well over the last few years.
In order to have that really nice quality sound, I suggest investing in one of these. This is a shock mount, right? And
Where are I? I've lost my place. Is it a shock mount? Right.
has these various bands.
Come, we're in the wrong place again. Hang on. That's of after want. Hang on. Ah, yes. Thank you.
Is a shock mount, right? And that has these various bands holding the microphone in place, and that dampens the vibration of the pop filter, producing a really nice clean sound with none of that humming.
Clean sound with none of that humming.
Software-wise, I do most of it.
Listen to how the quality of the sound changes when I cut there. Oh, look, we're nearly at the bottom. How would Lucien feel about AI-generated content? So you mean not me? How would Lucien feel about it? I think it's so far outside of Lucien's sphere of experience that he wouldn't really be able to comment. It's just, you know, content creation is so completely outside his realm of, you know, AI isn't. All I can do really is, I guess, how would I write it? I would probably make him agree with me, because in many ways, there's a lot of his things are self-inserted, and I personally am never keen. Because, you know, voice acting, it's all good stuff. People work very hard on it. And frankly, I'm still yet to be impressed by AI-generated content. At all. You know, people show off these... And it's very impressive technology. People show off these, like, you know, XVA synth or whatever, and they're like, look at this, we can now make characters in Skyrim say whatever we want. And you listen to it, and they sound rubbish. Oh, hello there. It's like Siri. It's just, and I'm sure the technology will get to the point where it does sound realistic and is convincing, but it still doesn't sit right with me ethically. If you don't have someone's explicit consent to copy their voice, then I don't think that's on, personally. That's AI-generated voice acting. AI-generated writing, so long as it's not purporting to be written, or so long as it's not copying another person, it can be a useful tool. But the problem with AI is it's always trained on a pre-existing data set. If you're using an AI if you're using AI to generate writing, that's being generated from other people's writing. And you can't know it doesn't come with credits. You can't know whose writing's being used. It might be word for word lifting a section that someone else has written and just putting it down, and you're like, well, this is just the AI, I can use this however I want. And what you've really done is you've just stolen their work, uncredited. And how can we possibly how can there possibly be oversight of that? How can we keep track of that? It's a huge minefield. It's really difficult. So to be honest, I would always say, write your own stuff. You know? And people can do the same without AI. Yeah? And then, you know, we as a society check for it, we look out for it, we penalise it when we find it. But I guess the thing is, without AI, you're doing it intentionally. AI allows you to unintentionally plagiarize someone without necessarily realizing that that's what you're doing. So AI has its place. It can be a useful tool. I work with AI every day with my PhD. Not to generate content, I'm using it to classify intent. Using a deep learning neural network. But it's got its place. It's a useful tool. But you need to be so careful with it when using it creatively. And I'm not sure it's something that's fundamentally desirable. I mean, maybe in the short term, but as a society, do we really want our art to come from AI? Isn't art a fundamental part of the human experience of our society, of the way we experience the world? Isn't our creative expression an important part of that sort of interacting system? Do we want AI to be doing that for us? I mean, machines do so many things for us in life. So much of the way life is done is increasingly replaced by, you know, electronic things doing it for us, and that's great and useful in a lot of cases. But the things that we think about as being fundamentally human are our art and our creativity. And I'm just not sure about turning that over to AI, because then what do we have left in the future? Gosh, that got very heavy, didn't it? But yeah, that's how I feel. Anyway, I'm not basically not keen. Not keen. But there we go.
Software-wise, I do most of my recording in Cubase, which is the software that comes with the Focusrite.
But anyway, literally as I type, an AI is syncing these words I'm typing. AI has generated this initial layout, this initial template, and AI is syncing the words I write to the words that I said. And that's saving me so much time. It's a really useful tool. But I guess the difference is it didn't write the original script.
Studio Solo Pack, and then a little bit of tweaking in Audacity. For modding, I do all my...
Anyway, we're nearly done. Anyway, yes, there's a whole debate to it. There's lots of pros and cons, but I'm sure my opinion will change over time as well. But the thing I'm definitely sure of is that it's not ethical to clone someone else's voice or artwork without their consent. You know, if someone chops up my voice using AI, or gets an AI trained on my voice in order to make Lucien or one of my other something else speak in my voice, that's not okay. Unless I say, yes, do it, in which case it is okay, but I don't say that.
My creative work, funnily enough, in the creation kit.
Oh, look, it capitalized creation kit. Or did I do that? Maybe I did that.
And then for fine-tuning and bug fixing, where I need the scalpel rather than the sledgehammer, I use XF.
Oh, that would be so nice if the AI could take out the trash, or as I would say, the rubbish. It must have taken a lot of work to get Lucien to where he is today. Lucien, not Lucy.
It must have taken a lot of work to get Lucien.
I always find it's very funny when he gets called Lucy. Makes me laugh. It's not his name.
In bug fixing, where
Used to have a crush on a girl at school called Lucy. It's very weird when that comes up.
work, funnily enough, and then a little bit of tweaking in Audacity. For modding, I do all my creative work, funnily enough,
in the creation kit. And then for fine-tuning and bug fixing, where I need the scalpel rather than the sledgehammer, I use Xedit.
It must have taken a lot is today?
To Lucien. No.
How many hours
Where he is today.
into the development of
How many hours would you say you've put into the development? Gosh, I wonder how many hours it is now, all these years later.
the mod? Lucien to where he is today. How many hours would you say you've put into the development of the mod?
That is a good question. Many hours. I don't exactly keep track. I started work on him September 2 years ago, so it was about a year of work as a hobby before it actually got to release, and now it's been out for about a year again. So the amount of time I have to work on him varies.
And I'm still a full-time student. But I'm nearly not. I'm nearly not. In a month and a half's time, I won't be.
So the amount of time I have to work on him varies because as a pretty much full-time student, I don't have a lot of free time.
He says, I had so much free time back then compared to how much I have now. So much. He was so naive. He knew nothing.
But so I get it. Full-time student, I don't have a lot of free time. But so I get it. It varies depending on terms. Have a lot of free time. But so I get it. It varies depending on term time.
Season 3 of Lucien the Dragonborn. I haven't done Season 2 yet. I am going to this year, though. Season 2 is definitely on my list of things to do once I finish PhD. I've planned out the first episode and the sort of season arc. I know what I'm doing with it. It's gonna happen.
Have a lot of free time. But so I get it. It varies
Oh, cake! I like cake.
depending on term time and things. Must be thousands of hours. But it's impossible to really put a figure on it. A lot. A lot. It's impossible to really put a figure on it. A lot. A lot.
Nuna, I would love you to do subs for Lucien the Dragonborn. To be honest, I'd written that one off because I'm obviously doing subs for this and the tutorial series, but Lucien the Dragonborn is such a long series and the episodes are so long, it'll take months to do subs for it. So if you want to help out with that, that would be so useful. Because I'm not going to. But I stress, it's a very big job. So, you know, if you want to give up on it at any point, please feel free as well, you know. Hi, Blue Monica. Thank you so much for the lovely comments. I'm so glad you like him so much. Lovely to see you.
Hours, but it's impossible to really put a figure on it. A lot. A lot.
That about wraps up this in.
Do you finish before season 2 starts? Knowing me, yeah, you probably will. Knowing how productive I am versus how productive you seem to be when you're like helping out with testing and stuff, I suspect you'll finish before I start. Anyway, yes, I'm glad the sentence was so cool to see you live and not so cool to see where you live. Please don't see where I live. That would be very invasive and stressful.
A lot. A lot.
That about wraps up this interview. So
Thank you for the bits, Pyromaniac. So thank you again for taking the time to talk to me, and I'll leave you to wrap up this video.
thank you again for taking the time to talk to me, and I'll leave you to wrap up this video.
So, there you have it. My first interview on the internet.
Ooh, I might sneeze. The Scarab Nexus. The Scarab Nexus. Sounds like a good name for a sort of Egyptian mystery novel. Skyrim. Thank you for the blessings, internet people. You know, YouTube used to have a feature called community subs, where anyone could write subtitles and submit them for the maker of the video to approve. And they retired it. It's not a thing anymore. And it would have been so handy if it was still a thing, because I could just say to all of you, yeah, please help out. But as it is, we have to do this whole admin approval process kind of thing in order to do that, which makes it trickier. But, and also, only one person can work on the sub for one episode at a time. It doesn't share the drafts between different people. So you can't write together, but yeah. Yeah, it did mean people could put bad things in, but I liked the version of it where you had to approve it. You know, people could submit it and you had to approve whether or not it was accurate. That would be what I'd like.
Internet. Thanks so much to everyone at the Skyrim Nexus for asking me to do it, and in particular Piggysaurus.
Piggysaurus. Piggysaurus.
Humouring my nonsense and letting me use his voice. Now, usual end of the video track one.
End of the video, he says, when this was like my first video.
If you enjoyed this interview, please do go ahead and click that like.
Smash that like button! Tiny Lucien, let go of my mouse. Do they still let you do annotations to videos? No. You can do cards. You can have cards pop up at the top with links to other things. But no, you can't do annotations anymore. I'll tell you what, if you folk are all in the Discord, when I have some time, I could do one of my announcement things where I say anyone looking to volunteer with subs, and I could set up like a private channel for it. We could put a little group together, potentially. But, as I say, it is quite a big commitment. It does take a while to do the individual parts, so I wouldn't want, you know, people with permissions to do that if they weren't, like, able to put a good amount of time into it. Like, I've done the short ones. The 1 or 2 minute videos I've done already. It's like the longer ones that need doing now, which is such a faff, but yeah. And in particular, Piggysaurus for humouring my nonsense and letting me use his voice. Hold on.
Enjoyed this interview, please do go ahead and click that like button. And if for some unfathomable reason you want to see more of me, heaven forbid, then feel free
Heaven forbid.
to subscribe to this channel.
Follow me on Facebook, back when I regularly posted on Facebook.
Or if you're feeling
Extra generous.
please do consider
Checking out my Patreon.
checking out my Patreon. Thanks so much for watching.
So much for watching. Hopefully see you again soon.
See you again soon.
And we're done! We did it! We did it. Publish. Okay, so the whole process is not done. The writing of the subtitles is done. And it will now sync it to my words. Thank you for the bits, Teeth. And this does now need a pass-through, making sure it all more or less lines up the way it's auto-synced. I usually do that at double speed, like this. I'm probably not going to do the whole lot on this video because I am quite hungry now. But I'll at least show you how I start the process.
Oh, there once was a hero named Lucien, Flavius, whose singing and writing and looks were just marvelous.
I'm not too pernickety about it, but I like to get it more or less right.
I'm Joseph Russell, a full-time engineering student and part-time writer, but I'm probably best known as the creative voice of Lucien, the cousin voice follower of the most inspired Skyrim. So, a little while ago, Piggysaurus from Skyrim Nexus got in touch with me and asked if I'd do an interview, which of course I would, but being the young repentant tryhard that I am, I thought I'd do that as a video. So, sit back, roast up a tall glass of naughty meat, or milk, and enjoy.
Hi, David. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to speak to me, and a special thank you for putting together this video version of the interview.
Hi, Mickey. It's a pleasure to be here. Thanks so much for having me on.
So, as a fellow gamer, if you had to pick your absolute favorite game of all time, what would it be and why?
The video is much better at this speed.
I think it's one of my favorite. It's Croc Legend of the Gods, right? Because it's this really old platformer from 1997, I think, on the PC, and lots of people hate it.
So YouTube does do a good job of syncing it up.
It's amazing, and the whole thing has this great sense of whimsy and adventure, and has all these
Subtitles hasn't been highly requested. It's my own initiative, but I posted about it asking it was something that people would like, and people voted overwhelmingly. For like 5 times as many people voted saying yes they'd like it than voted saying they weren't fussed. So there's definitely demand for it.
in secret to find, and it's just a great first game I played, and it's the one I always keep coming back to if I want to sort of just relax and have fun playing games. And obviously there's also things like Skyrim, for instance, which is probably the game I've played the most over the years because basically infinite amount of content with modding and everything, and now making content for it. So it's definitely one of those two really. I think Croc has my heart.
So now let's talk about your mods.
Let's just drag that forward like that.
So now let's talk about your mods. There might be some modders in the Skyrim community who get to meet Lucien. What can you tell us about him?
No, I don't think that's what people voted for. I don't think they said yes, why not? I was careful to phrase the question to determine whether or not people actually cared.
Modders in the Skyrim community who get to meet Lucien. What can you tell us about him?
So there's a lot I could say about Lucien.
Ah, no, it messed up syncing this up.
So there's a lot I could say about Lucien, but I think there's much better person to answer that question. So I'll just let my friend take it from here. Hello there, my name is Lucien Flavius. It's an absolute pleasure to do this interview. As I so often seem to say, I'm a scientist, philosopher, amateur, wizard, and maybe musician. I suppose that's more of a hobby. I'm here at Skyrim on an academic expedition, and I need someone a little tougher than me to show me around and make sure I don't die. I'll pay you handsomely for the job, and if you're willing to train me, I'll do my best to help you out and back up wherever I can. I'll also sing to you, read to you, and find out hundreds of different situations in Skyrim, including content about mods. Ah, did I mention mods? Oops, there goes the wall.
Oh, it's freezing up a bit.
Is the character of Lucien inspired by the character you play in Skyrim, or does the inspiration come from somewhere else?
So the inspiration for Lucien.
Someone got in touch before. It might well have been you, Lost Kitten. Was it you who messaged me? Someone DM'd me before, inviting me to Mastodon, but the hype around it seems to have died down a bit now. And Twitter still seems to be functioning. So I'm not personally currently looking to set up a Mastodon account. Maybe it was someone else then. Someone did. But anyway, it's not something I'm currently interested in at the moment, really.
Is the character of Lucien inspired by the character you play in Skyrim, or does the inspiration come from somewhere else?
So the inspiration for Lucien, there's a lot of me in there, really. He is very much how I think I might react to being thrown into situations that Skyrim presents you. So he's a bit of a wuss. He's very academic. He will much more readily run from fights than confront it. He likes singing. He likes bad jokes. The voice I use for him is basically mine, but maybe slightly harsher, just a little bit harsher. But I can read those changes off. I have to do that because I find when you're recording thousands of lines of dialogue for a character, it's really easy to just jump into. If I put on voice for that might work for 100 lines, but when you're doing that for so much time, it becomes really difficult. So by being such a natural voice for me, it's really easy. I mean, I know Jerry Heskett, who does Inigo, does this complete vocal transformation of a character. He's done that literally 7,000 lines. I have no idea how he manages to go with that. I don't have that talent. So yeah, a lot of Lucien just comes from me, and also kind of what I think might be funny. I thought it would be interesting with so many of the characters in Skyrim, all these big, strong barbarians, maybe all these fighters or assassins, all really serious people who are there to win fights and be heroes of Skyrim. So I thought just have an ordinary bloke who's really good at anything there, just to see how he reacts. I thought that'd be a really interesting, unique character. And so as soon as I started writing him, his character just sort of grew organically on its own, turned out to capture in the game, though, with his personality systems and the whole way he develops as you play with him. So he sort of these days kind of writes himself, but I enjoy it very much.
Before you release Lucien, you're working with Flavius.
Let's just tweak that. I like the subtitle to only show up as the sound starts, rather than preempting it.
Some patches for Bethesda's creation club content. What inspired you to make the jump to your own fully featured folder?
Yeah, so the typo fixes and the patches were all really, I make them for me because as someone who does a lot of writing, I have a sensitive eye for grammar and spelling mistakes. If I spot something and my eye goes straight to it, I really notice it and that really takes me out of the immersion game. So I started with these writing patches because a lot of incredibly talented modders who make these amazing mods, often English isn't their first language or they're not trained writers, they find more walks of life, but sometimes it's easy for anyone really to leave typos in there. So I thought, for my own personal enjoyment, I just go in and fix them mistakes that I see as they are. And then the creation club patches, which were much later on, sort of taking that a little bit further. Again, it's all this idea of polishing the content that's already there, just to make it, to me, that bit more professional, just to make it that bit better.
This is like a Joseph Reacts video, isn't it?
While satisfying for me, it's enjoyable to do, but the actual work is not fun. Actually going in there with
A lot of streamers watch YouTube videos on their streams and then react in the corner, and that's the content. Joseph reacts to himself.
wanting to do something more, a bigger mod was my own work. I was already familiar with where all the buttons are and how to achieve various things I needed. So then I was thinking, made predominantly as writing, because you have to make the character.
If you spot mistakes while we're doing this, by the way, do sing out.
And I can voice them all myself, so I don't need to collaborate very much with other people. So it's a really good fit for me. So yeah, I thought Fallen Mods was a great place for me to start, and I found it somewhere I want to stay. You know, it's really, really fun. I want you to keep making bigger and better all the time.
Lucien has numerous interactions with other mods, including other followers. How did you choose each mod to add support for?
So yeah, apart from maybe I wanted to just start out trying to use mods that I love to use, you know, that I think would be fun and listen to interact with. What was previously called Song of the Green, featuring Ori, that is now Song of the Green Ori follower by Oriki. That is a woman who is so completely different to Lucien, in that she has no inhibitions. Is just a really lovely counterpoint to Lucien's character, so I thought that'd be really fun one to interact with. The dialogue between them, I think, bounces off really nicely. They just don't get each other at all. So yes, so I have this framework that allows me to easily do interactions with our followers. That's easy.
Can we not do that? If that's okay, Cindy? Just in the interest of keeping the chat all sort of nice and upbeat. Let's not go into the whole Elon Musk thing. It's cool, no need to be sorry, just generally it's just exhausting, you know? Oh, that's so cool! Mommy commit invalid. I'm very glad you feel confident enough to chirp up. Lovely to see you. Hope you're well. Thank you for joining the stream.
And so yes, so I have this framework that allows me to easily do interactions with our followers. That's easy to do quest mods in Around. That requires action. So I have to be careful there. You don't want people to have to download more files than absolutely necessary. You just want the installation process as easy and straightforward as possible. So if I am going to have to use a patch to really get value out of having that patch, a lot of lines, then it's just one or two for everything. So Moon Path to Elsewhere, which I think was the first, I may well be wrong, but I think was one of the first quest mods.
You know, if I ever come to doing, or if I ever pay, I guess it would be if I pay someone, because there's no way it's ever going to happen without. If I ever paid someone to add subtitles to my stream VODs, what would I write for this bit? Would I rewrite the subtitles for these subtitles out again on the bottom of the screen while I'm playing the video back? Subtitleception. YouTube seems to do a good job of syncing this, to be honest. It really struggles with music when it's lyrics for a song, but this is going well. It's just these pauses I don't like.
As you're also the voice actor for Lucien, do you have any tips for building voice actors to get that perfect recording?
Okay, I'm not hugely experienced in voice acting on this role, but what I can say with any kind of acting, but especially with voice acting, is that you can't just read the lines out, right? You are acting that character, and so it's really important to put as much variation in tone and emotion into the sentences as possibly can. And the thing with voice acting, well, a lot of our interaction face-to-face is all done facial expression and with your eyes, you can see. And with voice acting, you have all that element of communication taken away. You only have your voice, so everything needs to be turned up to about 150%. I don't know, it needs to really amp up all the emotions to the extent that it sounds over the top to you, because if it sounds over the top when you're saying it, you actually listen back. I find it's usually just about spot on. You can never really do too much.
What hardware and software do you use when working on your mods?
So the best place to talk about hardware and software is here, my university accommodation, where I can't even do my recording. So I use a Focusrite Scarlett Studio solo pack, which comes with this microphone. It's really nice quality, which is a really lovely sound. I can definitely recommend it. It also comes with this, which is
I'm going to change the punctuation on here. Is here. I'm going to make that a colon. Just because I'm nitpicking.
Software-wise, I do most of my recording in Cubase, which is the software that comes with the Focusrite Scarlett Studio solo pack, and then a little bit of tweaking in Audacity. For modding, I do all my creative work, funnily enough, in the creation kit, and then for fine-tuning and bug fixing, where I need this helpful rather than the sledgehammer, I use Xedit.
It must have taken a lot of work to get Lucien to where he is today. How many hours would you say?
Let me grab the end bit. There we go.
It must have taken a lot of work to get Lucien to where he is today. How many hours would you say you put into the development of the mod?
That is a difficult question. Many hours. I don't exactly keep track. I started work on him September 2 years ago, so it was about a year of work as a hobby before it actually got to release, and now it's been out for about a year again. So the amount of time I have to work on it varies, because as a pretty much full-time student, I don't have a lot of free time. So I get it varies depending on term time things, and it must be thousands of hours, but it's impossible to put a figure on it. A lot.
Ooh. That wasn't right there.
A lot.
I think my voice sounds slow when I've been listening to it on double speed. And it goes all like that. It's so slow. I am not going to call you mommy. Mommy commit invalid. I'll call you commit invalid if you like. You listen on 1.5 speed. I usually go for like 1.1 times speed for audiobooks. It varies. If it's an audiobook like the Star Wars ones that have music and things in the background, I go for the exact normal speed. But if it's someone just talking, I'll vary it depending on how slow/quickly they talk. But yeah, I usually just turn it up just enough that I can't notice it's been sped up.
That about wraps up this interview, so thank you again for taking the time to talk to me, and I'll leave you to wrap up this video.
So, there you have it. My first interview wins.
It does. It's almost got this all right. It's just messed up a little bit here.
See ya.
So, there you have it. My first interview on the internet. Thanks so much everyone that's going next for asking to do it, and in particular if you saw us, if you really noticed and let me use the voice. Now, usual end of the video prep. If you enjoyed this interview, please do go ahead and click that like button. And if there's some unfathomable reason you want to see more of me, and for it, then feel free to subscribe to this channel, follow me on Facebook, or if you're feeling extra generous, please do consider checking out my Patreon. Thanks so much for watching. Hopefully see you again soon.
Yay! Now we're done. Smashed it. 2 hours to do a 15-minute video. I need to be faster at this. But there you go. That's my whole process for doing. I don't like this is separated out into separate languages. But we can delete the automatic ones now because we don't want those anymore. And we'll just stick with the published ones. There we go. Lovely jubbly. I mean, there's loads of them that I haven't done. But the most important ones to do are the ones that don't have in-game subtitles. You know, a lot of my videos have in-game subtitles on them. And they're good. I'd still prefer to have proper subtitles over the top so that people can have that option to turn it on if it's like on a small... Like if you're watching on a small phone screen or something, you often can't read those little in-game subtitles, whereas the YouTube ones get properly scaled up. So I prefer to have those. I will go through and put those on as well. But yeah, the most important ones, I think, are the ones like that YouTube interview, where if you don't have the subtitles, you don't have any frame of reference for it, you know. So, right. Okay, we're done. I'm going to go eat food. Thank you for watching. Thank you for keeping me company. I'm amazed at how many viewers we got on not the most exciting content in the world. But I hope you find the subtitles useful. You know, those of you who wanted them, I hope you enjoy those. I'm going to be adding them to, you know, the other tutorial videos. And Noona's apparently going to do Lucien the Dragonborn. So we'll see where they get to with that. It's going to be a big job. But yeah, we're going to do... I want subtitles in every video on the channel. I want to get to that. That's certainly something I'll make happen later in the year when I have some time. But yeah, it's something when I got a bit of time, you know, just spend a bit of time adding them as we go. Might do another subtitle stream in the future because I do think it's important to get the tutorial ones done as soon as possible because I think it really benefits those. Even just for people who don't necessarily need the subtitles, but when you're watching the tutorial videos, you're getting a lot of jargon thrown at you quite quickly. I can see the benefit for everyone in just having the words come up underneath as well, especially if you're like flicking through in a hurry as well. It can be very useful to have them there. So yeah, right. Okay, gonna end there. Thank you all for watching. I will be back on Monday for something. I don't know what. We'll see. But there'll be a stream on Monday probably. So yeah, see you then. Stay marvelous. Cuddle a kitten or not or whatever. Have a nice snack. Whatever you do nice things. Treat yourself. Anyway, right. Yes, gonna go. Bye, everyone. Bye-bye.